Here are your Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, June 20th, 2025. It's a big day for Holly, Tate, Sophia, and Aaron when they prepare to walk with their class and become high school graduates. Sophia didn't think she'd get through the school year after learning she was pregnant, but it turns out that her baby doesn't want her to attend her graduation. Sophia goes into labor before the graduation ceremony begins, alarming Aaron more than it should. Tate rushes her to the hospital with Amy in tow. Sarah examines a very nervous Sophia and tries to assure her that everything is going to be okay. Tate and Sophia haven't even found anyone to adopt their baby yet and are afraid of getting too attached after he or she is born. Will something happen that will shock Holly and Tate before the day is through? It feels like there is a surprise in store, and that Aaron's return to Salem has something to do with it. Sarah has a very busy day at work. Not only does she deal with a teenage patient in labor, she also examines Rachel, a little girl whom she raised during her first year of life. Brady brings Rachel in when she is not feeling very well, so he is conveniently there for Tate when he and Amy arrive with Sophia. Marlena is also there as Sarah's patient. Being a doctor herself, she makes sure to get checked out after nearly passing out when she was home earlier with Belle. She can also see that something is very wrong with Rachel, and it's not physical. Marlena puts her psychiatrist and grandma hats on at the same time to try to cheer Rachel up. When she takes her home and Rachel naps on the couch, she is surprised to hear the little girl call out in her sleep saying, "Don't shoot." Marlena realizes there is something much more going on with Rachel than meets the eye, and she is determined to get to the bottom of it. Please note that if you purchase something by clicking on a link within this story, we may receive a small commission of the sale. At the mansion, EJ opens a Father's Day card from Sydney. His smile fades as he recalls Johnny pointing a gun at him. Johnny finds a wrapped gift at home. An already distracted Chanel grabs it and says it was supposed to be his first Father's Day gift. He tells her to keep it, promising it will happen someday. He invites her to pancakes before he goes to work, but she has to get to Sweet Bits. However, once alone, Chanel calls Felicity, reminding her she won't be in until later. After Chanel has left, EJ comes to the apartment to apologize to Johnny. Johnny curtly assumes he's referring to his grandfather's death. As they discuss him, EJ says Johnny's more like John than he is his own father. Johnny disagrees, considering what he did that night. EJ muses that he was justified. He knows he's been trying to force Johnny into forgiveness, and it's selfish, so he's there to set him free. EJ loves him with all his heart, but sometimes loving someone means letting them go. So for Johnny's sake, he'll never bother him again, if that's what he wants. As much as Johnny hates EJ for what he did to Sammy, he can't deny that he's been a good dad. They agree not always, but Johnny's always known that he's important to him. After losing Grandpa John, he's not sure he can handle another loss. EJ urges him to take his time and think it over. He'll accept whatever his answer is. At the hospital, Chanel runs into Paulina, who's there for her yearly physical. Now, she plans to speak at graduation and then celebrate her anniversary with Abe. As for Chanel, she's there for a follow-up after her cancer surgery. She didn't tell anyone, so Paulina wouldn't freak out, and Johnny wouldn't have one more thing to worry about. She also wants to ask Sarah if they can try for another baby, and she doesn't want Johnny to feel pressured. Xander finds Sarah in an empty hospital room to point out that he was exonerated for Philip's assault. Sarah snidely states that doesn't change anything between them. Xander scoffs. He's not there to reunite. He's there to get shared custody. Sarah will never agree to that. "Then we'll do this the hard way," he says and storms out. Belle brings Philip a smoothie at the hospital and asks him to go over his statement again. Philip sticks by his story that a random person he's never seen before beat him up. Belle doesn't believe him. She fears Xander will want to finish him off, and she can't lose one more person she cares about. Confused, Philip wonders who else she lost. After Belle tells him about John, Philip expresses how sorry he is. He blames himself for John being at that meth lab. Belle assures him it was just a terrible accident, but what happened to Philip was not. She won't give up until she proves he's lying. Later, Xander comes to Philip's room. A flashback reveals Xander warning Philip that if he turns him in, he'll lose his stake in Titan and his inheritance. In present day, Xander reminds his brother that if they don't find a way to make their relationship work, they both stand to lose everything. Philip isn't sure he can work with him. Xander earnestly apologizes, listing all the things that led up to his rage bubbling over. He deeply regrets it. Philip, in turn, apologizes for his actions. Xander's glad he told him Sarah knew about the forged letter, but she can never know Philip was the one who exposed her. In an exam room, Sarah gives Chanel the all-clear health-wise, but advises her to wait to try and have a baby. Being pregnant would make it hard for them to detect a recurrence of cancer. Waiting will give her the best chance at a successful pregnancy. As Chanel later fills in Paulina, she says she's not sure Johnny's ready anyway. However, she is glad he's taking the steps to get EJ out of their lives. When Sarah examines Philip, she asks if he told Xander she knew about the forgery. He emphatically insists it wasn't him. Xander runs into Paulina in the hospital lobby. He plans to contest the board's vote on the sale of the hospital, now that he's been cleared in Philip's attack. He'd like Abe's support because this is very important to him. Paulina counters that his wife and daughter are what's important. He shouldn't lose sight of that. Chanel comes home, surprised to see Johnny still there. He explains about EJ's visit. She thinks EJ setting him free is good news, but Johnny isn't sure he can lose anyone else in his life. Plus, he doesn't like who he is when he's this angry. He needs to find a way to let go of the past and let his father back into his life. Chanel stares off, distraught. In her living room, Marlena discovers wilting flowers in a vase. "I'm sorry. I can't be around any more death right now." She tearfully throws the flowers. She takes John's Yankee ball cap off a shelf and smells it. Stifling sobs, she clutches it to her chest. Belle comes home and notices Marlena's tear-stained face. She embraces her mother, and they sit for tea. When Marlena asks about Belle's life, she admits she's been having second thoughts about EJ since John's death. Marlena has her own reservations about EJ, but encourages Belle to do what she wants. Marlena falters when she stands, chalking it up to getting up too quickly. When Belle leaves for work, Marlena chokes back tears. She falters again and leaves a message for Sarah to call her. At the Dimera mansion, EJ plays chess alone when Belle enters. She's realized that despite her fear and confusion, she needs to follow her heart. "I love you, EJ." EJ returns the sentiment, kisses her. Rafe comes to the police station to give Jada information on EJ's shooting. Jada is aghast to learn he planted a camera at the mansion, but will overlook his breaking and entering. They need to find that memory card. As they bounce ideas off each other, Jada notes it feels like old times. Maybe in the future, they can be friends. Rafe would like that. Welcome to the Days of Our Lives Daily YAPP. For a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. In 2021, a new national holiday came to the United States when Congress passed a law commemorating the day that American slaves learned that they had been freed. June 19th became known as Juneteenth, and a new federal holiday was born. The one soap to consistently mark this day has been Days of Our Lives. Its 2022 Juneteenth celebration gave us the wedding of Abe Carver to Paulina Price, with both African-American characters noting the significance of the day. Abe and Paulina made sure to add elements of long-ago slave weddings, including the bride and groom jumping the broom. Since then, Days has marked Juneteenth by celebrating Abe and Paulina's wedding anniversary. We were a little disappointed when the June 19th episode only had a passing mention of this big anniversary, but the June 20th episode featured Abe and Paulina enjoying dinner out for their anniversary. Before dinner, Paulina read Abe her prepared mayoral speech for the high school graduation. Her speech noted the feeling of freedom that comes with finishing your high school journey, while tying it into the entire concept of freedom. You are free to choose the kind of life you want for yourselves, which is why it's doubly momentous that this occasion on Juneteenth, the day that the last enslaved people of the United States learned that their freedom had been restored, she said. Days may tape episodes more than half a year in advance, but it never forgets what's coming up in June. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full DOOL recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously, do not, forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Welcome to the Days of Our Lives Daily YAPP. For a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. Everything was coming up roses for EJ DiMera on the June 19th episode of Days of Our Lives. Not long ago, he was lingering in a coma and nobody knew if he would live. He had alienated almost everyone who cared for him, but woke up with a brand new outlook on life. While the same scoundrel seemed to lurk underneath, especially when he bought the hospital, a new EJ emerged, determined to be a better man. Too bad nobody believed him, and his personal life got even worse. EJ is still convinced that Johnny is the one who shot him, but at least Johnny is starting to warm up to him again as of today. EJ was stunned when Johnny told him he wasn't sure if he wanted to shut him out of his life. Johnny doesn't even realize that his own father thinks he put a bullet in his chest. While there are still truths to come out, EJ got his wish on Thursday. But it got even better. Not only did Johnny start to thaw, but Belle decided that she loved him and wanted to make things work between them. EJ could barely believe his luck. But is his luck going to run out? Or will EJ just ruin it for himself? EJ has a habit of doing these things, so EJ's very good day could very well be a one-time thing. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full DOOL recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously, do not, forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Here is our Days of Our Lives recap for Thursday, June 19th, 2025. At the hospital, Xander found Sarah in an exam room. He couldn't wait to tell her that the police had dropped all charges related to Philip's assault. Sarah already knew because she was there when Philip gave his statement to Jada. Xander thought that Sarah owed him an apology. Sarah refused to apologize because she didn't believe Philip, because Xander had never completely denied it. You never said it. In all the times that I've asked you about it, you have never given a direct answer, Sarah accused. She felt Philip was lying to avoid having to explain why Xander did what he did. The truth about the letter would come out, and Philip could lose everything. So as far as I'm concerned, your so-called exoneration doesn't change a damn thing, Sarah stated. Xander claimed he wasn't there to try to reconcile, but he thought the news might help gain more access to Victoria. He wanted shared custody, but Sarah refused to budge. Then we'll have to do this the hard way, Xander warned before walking away. At the Salem PD, Jada sat on the phone with Kate and told her there was nothing more she could do about Xander. Philip swore on the record that Xander didn't assault him, and Jada's hands were tied. When Kate hung up on her, Rafe walked in through the office back door. Jada was pleased to hear that Rafe was able to stay in Salem while working for the FBI. He even had information for her about EJ's shooting. Jada was shocked to hear that Rafe had planted a camera in the DiMera living room the night that EJ was shot. Rafe wanted Jada's help in finding the missing memory card and didn't believe Gabby's theory that Leo took it. Philip sat in his hospital bed, appearing to enjoy a smoothie. Belle sat opposite him and questioned him about the assault. It's like I said in my statement. I was at the Salem Inn. Someone knocked on my door. I went to open it and I got a fist in my face, Philip said matter-of-factly. Belle didn't believe a random person whom Philip had never seen before just showed up and punched him in the face. She was sure theft wasn't the motive, as the police report showed that nothing was taken from the room. Philip claimed there were a lot of crazy people out there. "And I'd have to be one of them to believe one word coming out of your mouth," Belle said. She reminded Philip that she knew why Xander would come after him, while the Salem PD wasn't aware of the forged letter. Philip refused to bend and kept repeating that Xander didn't attack him. Belle wondered if Xander had hired someone to beat Philip. "If he did, I doubt you'll be able to prove it," Philip said. Belle asked if Xander had threatened him, but Philip continued to claim that he wasn't lying. "Philip, talk to me. I cannot lose another person that I care about," Belle pleaded. Philip was surprised by that statement and asked Belle who else she had lost. Belle was forced to tell him that her father had passed away. When she explained how, Philip wondered if his Versavix heist could have contributed to John's death. Belle assured Philip that it wasn't his fault. "This was all just a terrible accident, but what happened to you was not. That was a premeditated, brutal assault. There is no justice to be had for my dad, but there is for you. I just need your help so I can go get it," Belle said. "I know you, Philip. I know you're lying, and I'm not going to give up till I prove it." After Belle left, Xander paid Philip a visit and congratulated him for making the right decision and leaving Xander's name out of it when he spoke to the police. Philip realized he had no choice. He flashed back to when he woke, and Xander warned him not to say a word or he'd lose his inheritance and his stake in Titan. When Xander said he wanted them to still work together, Philip wasn't sure. So Xander issued what seemed to be a genuine apology for what he had done. "I just couldn't contain my rage any longer, and I did something I deeply regret," Xander admitted. Philip also apologized for telling Xander that Sarah had known about the forgery. Xander said he was glad that Philip had told him. He also reiterated that the facts about the assault had to stay between them. Later, Sarah examined Philip and asked him if he was the one who told Xander that Sarah knew about the letter. Philip lied and told her that he didn't. Marlena stood in her living room, drowning in stoic sadness as she looked at the dead eucalyptus flowers from John's funeral. As she lifted them from the vase, she broke down in tears, saying, "I'm sorry, but I can't be around more death right now." Marlena angrily threw the flowers on the floor before noticing John's Yankee hat on display in a glass cabinet. She removed it and took in the smell before crying some more. When Belle returned home, she noticed her mother's tears and gave her a big hug. Belle offered to stay home and work remotely, but Marlena wouldn't hear of it. Belle promised to be there for anything Marlena needed. Mother and daughter discussed their grief, with Belle opening up to Marlena about breaking things off with EJ after John died. She wanted to still be with EJ, but knew that John wouldn't like it. Marlena had some advice. "You have to do what you want. It doesn't matter what I want for you, and it doesn't even matter what your dad wanted for you," Marlena said. Belle agreed that she had to make up her own mind about EJ. When Marlena stood up, she became dizzy. Belle wanted to take her to the hospital to get checked out, but Marlena insisted she was fine. After Belle left, Marlena left a voicemail for Sarah to give her a call when she could. EJ read a Father's Day card from Sydney, telling him how much she missed and loved him. He then flashed back to Johnny, telling him that he was dead to him. He also remembered seeing Johnny point a gun at him. As Johnny and Chanel unpacked more things for their new place, Johnny came across a gift box, but Chanel begged him to hand it back and not open it. "It was supposed to be your first Father's Day gift," she explained. "I bought this for you a few months ago, back when I thought we were going to adopt Sophia and Tate's baby." Johnny told her to keep the gift and promised her that they would be parents one day. They wished each other a good day at work before Johnny left the room. Once alone, Chanel called Felicity and told her that she would be late for work because she had something to take care of first. When Johnny was alone in the apartment, he was surprised to see EJ at the door. The first thing EJ did was tell Johnny that he was sorry about John's death. Johnny noted that he may have been John's namesake, but they didn't share the same blood. "I'm happy to say that you take after John more than you do your own father," EJ said. "I don't know about that. We both know what I did that night," Johnny said. EJ felt that Johnny was justified. EJ told Johnny he wouldn't try to guilt or badger him anymore. "After tonight, you'll never have to see me again," EJ said. "John Roman DeMera, I love you with all my heart, but sometimes loving someone means letting them go. So yes, for your sake, I will never bother you again and I will walk away for good. That is what you want, right? EJ asked. Johnny said that he honestly wasn't sure. As much as I hate you for what you did to Mom, I can't deny that you've been a good dad, Johnny said. Not always. But I've always known that you care about me, and I'm important to you. After losing Grandpa John, I am not sure I can handle any more loss in my life. EJ said he'd give Johnny space to make up his mind about their relationship. I love you, son, EJ said before leaving. When Chanel returned home, she was surprised to hear about the encounter. As for EJ, he found himself back in his living room looking pensive until Belle appeared. Despite all of my fear and confusion, I think I need to follow my heart. I love you, EJ, Belle said. EJ said he loved her too and pulled her in for a kiss. Chanel ran into Paulina at the hospital after she had some blood work done. Chanel wished Paulina a happy anniversary as she married Abe on Juneteenth 3 years ago. Chanel was at the hospital for a follow-up to the cancer surgery she had several months back. She didn't want Johnny there because she didn't want Johnny to feel pressured if Sarah said they could try for another baby. When Sarah examined Chanel, she told her that everything looked good, but still advised her to wait to start trying again for a baby. If you do wait, it really would give you the best chance of having a healthy, successful pregnancy, Sarah advised. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that some social media hints have fans buzzing about some potential recast news. Is Connor Floyd the new Chad Dimera? Billy Flynn departed. Days and Soap hopped over to Y&R, where he's now playing Kane Ashby, aka Aristotle Dumas. Of course, DOOL films several months in advance, so viewers still have some time before they have to say goodbye to Flynn's version of Chad on screen. However, Flynn previously dropped hints that the role of Chad might be recast. Let's look at what Flynn said in an interview with Variety. I hope fans continue to watch Days and support whoever might come in and play Chad, if there ever is that case. I hope they do that and give somebody the same love they gave me, Flynn insisted. Now that Billy Flynn is finally airing as Kane on The Young and the Restless, Connor Floyd just might be trading Y&R for DOOL. On Instagram, Floyd follows the Days Peacock account and has some other Days-related follows as well. There's some insider buzz about Floyd possibly filling Chad's shoes, so it's something we should start thinking about. Many fans have noticed that Floyd bears a resemblance to Flynn, so we could certainly imagine him playing Chad next. Floyd was dropped to recurring at Y&R, so no one would blame him for bolting to Days if they offered him a contract role. This could be Floyd's opportunity to score more money and better material. In Genoa City, Floyd typically only gets used if they need Detective Chancellor to crack a case. In Salem, Floyd could become a hot leading man who gets real storylines. If Days feels like Chad is important enough to recast, then they clearly have some good stuff coming up for him. Connor Floyd could put his own spin on Chad and become a key player on canvas, so it'll be interesting to see if he's indeed joining the show. Days of Our Lives spoilers say some Chad shockers are still to come, so stay tuned for updates on what's in store. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that some curveballs are still to come in Salem. It looks like a fire emergency, DNA shocker, and a bad boy reformation are on the way. So let's discuss 3 DOOL twists that seem to be brewing. For starters, it's been a while since the Horton house went up in flames, so perhaps it's almost time for another fire to break out. That's especially true now that Javi Hernandez has decided to get his firefighter EMT career back on track. There's surely a reason why Days had Javi pick this particular job. Chances are good that at some point, there'll be a fire emergency that allows Javi to show off his skills and play the hero. The countdown is on when it comes to the next big blaze, so stay tuned for updates on any fiery outcomes that might be looming. We should also talk about the likelihood that Aaron Green is the real father of Sophia Choi's baby. Aaron had an off-screen hangout session with Sophia that could have easily led to them conceiving this child. Days has been offering up hints about this potential paternity curveball, like when Tate Black kept highlighting the fact that he used protection during a conversation with Aaron. Aaron also fished for the due date and later suggested to Sophia that he previously hoped they'd end up together. Although Sophia claimed Tate was the father from day one, It may come out that she was lying. A bio-dad DNA shocker could be looming following the birth. Will Aaron get true baby daddy confirmation and make a plea to Sophia in hopes of raising their kid as a team? Could this paternity mess lead to the adoption getting called off altogether? Xander Kyriakis sank pretty low when he attacked Philip Kyriakis, but Philip ultimately agreed not to testify against him. Philip doesn't want to get exposed for fraud, so he's worked out an arrangement with Xander. When Xander apologized for how far he took things, even Philip was surprised over how genuine he seemed about it. This could be the first glimmer of hope when it comes to Xander's final bad boy reformation. Days could put Xander on the path to redemption that sticks this time around. Xander and Sarah Horton Kyriakis are still on the outs, but Victoria Kyriakis may help bring them together in the end. Although Xander just demanded a 50-50 custody split and intends to take Sarah to court, there's bound to be something that eases the tension eventually. Now that Xander has genuinely apologized to Philip and started getting their brother bond back on track, his marriage and family repair could follow. Will Xander finally turn from his bad boy ways and be the person Sarah always hoped he could be? Days of Our Lives spoilers say there's plenty more excitement ahead in Salem, so we'll bring you all the stunning news and surprising story developments you're looking for. What does Shane have on Kat? Days of Our Lives spoilers for Monday, June 23rd. Continue with EJ's determination to protect Johnny from any and all consequences of his actions. Even when those actions include shooting his father, we've known for weeks that Johnny pointed a gun at EJ, and we've known that EJ has known it too. But now, EJ and Johnny have discussed it, and EJ has promised Johnny that he won't tell a soul. Except Johnny and EJ aren't the only ones in the know. Rachel saw the gun pointing too, and she told Kristen, who told Brady? Who told EJ? Now, EJ has to worry that Brady or Kristen will spill the beans, and think of a way to make sure they don't do that, ever. But while all that drama is going on, Tony is wondering who is minding the family business. EJ claims to be doing it, and Kristen wants to do it. But maybe it's time for Tony to step in and show his younger siblings how it's done. While they're back in Salem, Jennifer and Jack are spending quality time with their grandchildren, Thomas and Charlotte. They pass an evening playing board games and remembering Abigail, while pretending that they never met Kat, and she never tried to trick them into thinking she was their late daughter. It's about to be another big week in Salem. Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of June 23, 27, 2025. Tease a Salem wedding and Salem secrets coming out. Tony is back, and spoilers say he's taking matters into his own hands. After all, DiMera was just taken over by the Kyriakises, and knowing Tony, he won't let the company go down without a fight. Also on the DiMera front is Johnny. He's worrying his loved ones ever since the big reveal of his conception and his father's shooting. Midweek, he'll finally be confronted by his grandparents. Roman has wondered if Johnny was the one who stole his gun and possibly shot EJ, and if anyone can get the truth out of him, it's Marlena. Later in the week, Johnny and Gabby are said to pitch ideas to each other. What about, however, is unknown. Getting back to the Kyriakises, by the end of the week, Xander and Philip will come to an understanding. Philip isn't telling anyone that Xander was the one who beat him, but from either what in return? Odds are, Philip will want more than just a share of Titan. At the start of the week, Shane will force Kat's hand. Kat has some sort of history with the ISA director, and all may finally be revealed on Monday. On Tuesday, Paul and Andrew will have their Salem wedding, and what a way to end Pride Month. The happy couple will be joined by their friends and family as they commit to their love, and everyone knows John will be watching down on them as well. Days of Our Lives, spoilers and updates for the next 3 weeks, June 16th, July 4th, tease unexpected reunions, shocking twists, and a message from beyond the grave. Sammy Brady and Kat Green may have an unexpected reunion, while Holly Jonas gets a shocking twist and John Black sends a message. The week of June 16 to 20 will be a relief for Xander Kyriakis, as Philip Kyriakis will conceal his guilt, even under Belle Black's constant pressure. Philip will hide Xander's involvement in nearly getting rid of him for good, but any agreement they make might lead to repercussions. Speaking of repercussions, EJ DiMera will continue to try to protect Johnny DiMera from them, but he will become more worried. Rachel Black's awareness of the events from the night of the shooting is set to ramp up. After Rachel reveals too much in her sleep, Marlena Evans might suspect what her granddaughter saw. Johnny might need to persuade Marlena that he never really aimed his weapon at EJ, regardless of how alarming things appeared to Rachel. Meanwhile, Bo Brady and Hope Brady are set to embark on a global adventure as a couple rekindled. This means that Hope and Brady will temporarily say goodbye to Salim. On the day of her graduation, Sophia Choi will panic as she goes into labor, yet Tate Black will be there for her just as he assured. It seems that Sophia will be rushed to the hospital as the week of June 23-27 begins. However, the arrival of this baby might introduce a significant twist in days, especially with Aaron Green re-entering the scene at just the right moment. Is it possible that Aaron had an off-screen encounter with Sophia and fathered this child? We wouldn't be shocked if Aaron demands a paternity test and ultimately obtains confirmation of his fatherhood. This revelation could certainly catch Tate off guard and present a major surprise for Holly, as well will Holly feel as though fate is finally on their side? Might this prompt Holly to contemplate a new beginning with Tate? In any case, Holly will support Tate as he navigates through a whirlwind of emotions. Seeing this could very well draw Doug Williams III back into the embrace of Ariana Ari Horton. Meanwhile, Andrew Donovan and Paul Narita are set to pursue their intentions to exchange vows and solidify their marital commitment. Paul and Andrew's wedding will soon introduce a hint of happiness to Salem. Possibly, we'll see Shane and Kimberly Donovan return for the wedding, and possibly Teresa Donovan. It's doubtful that Eve Donovan will show up, but you never know what will happen in Salem. The week spanning June 30th to July 4th is expected to mark Sammy's return, providing her with the opportunity to console Marlena following John's death. Marlena will surely value this additional support and the chance to reflect on her true love. However, she is still on the lookout for a special coin that was not among John's possessions. While Marlena has nearly lost hope of ever finding it, Day's spoilers hint that it could make a comeback just when she needs it the most. It's possible that John will somehow return that coin to Marlena, sending Doc a message from the afterlife to reassure her that he is still by her side. As for Sammy, Kat is bound to have a surprising meeting that feels like a throwback to her murky past. Upon seeing Sammy's photo at the townhouse, Kat felt a strange sense of familiarity, yet she couldn't quite pinpoint it. Meeting Sammy face-to-face may just spark a surge of memories and help Kat make the connection. Sammy may be able to fill in the blanks for Kat, with surprising results. According to Days of Our Lives spoilers, the link between Kat and Sammy will eventually come to light, so keep an eye out for any startling revelations ahead. Lindsay Godfrey was candid about what's going through Sarah's mind regarding Xander and baby Victoria. Salemites were shocked when Philip stated that Xander wasn't the one who beat him to a bloody pulp on Days of Our Lives. However, Sarah and Belle don't believe him and believe Xander really did it, not some rando that he never met. Xander giving in to his darkest impulses has created a huge rift between him and Sarah, and now they're going to be fighting for custody of baby Victoria. Lindsay Godfrey opened up about the major damage between the two. Godfrey explained to Soap Opera Digest that she's playing Sarah as if she knows full well that Philip is lying. "And anybody else that tells me this story is lying," she remarked. She doesn't understand why Philip isn't telling the truth in this situation and finds him truly annoying. In the past, Sarah has forgiven Xander for letting his dark side take control of his actions, but that's not going to happen anymore. As to the fight between the couple over Victoria, Godfrey stated, Sarah doesn't want Xander to have 50-50 custody of their daughter, further noting that his volatile nature does not make a healthy home environment. The actress went on to explain that while Maggie used to always defend Xander to Sarah because she regarded him as a son, she noted that in this situation, but for the first time, Maggie really was not coming to his defense. She also reiterated that Sarah's whole reason for keeping Philip's lie was that he could be a buffer to keep Xander at bay. But without Philip as his partner, and without the support of Maggie and Sarah, whom she described as Xander's North Star of goodness, Sarah's terrified of what Xander could do next. She also teased that lawyers will be involved in the custody issue and that things are going to go in surprising directions and not the way the characters may want. Peter Reckell revealed the heartbreaking loss that he and his character Bo both dealt with upon his recent return to the show. Now that Bo's back on Days of Our Lives, he can look ahead to his renewed life with hope and what the future brings. Although this visit from Bo and Hope is going to be short-lived once again, Reckell had previously expressed an interest in returning to the series as a regular. Until that happens, which will cause fans to jump for joy, the actor keeps giving his performances their all. He recently opened up about what's going on with Bo and the losses, both on and off-screen, that he's endured. Reckell took some time to talk to Soap Opera Digest about how, in this return, Bo had to wrap his head around all the changes in Salem. Plus, he had to tackle Sean's guilt over shooting him and returning to normal with Hope. He explained, "It was very impactful and the kind of stuff that I love jumping into." He also explained that since he wasn't working for the 2 years that Bo was in a coma, he watched many things occur that he wasn't involved in, and it was disheartening. It was kind of heartbreaking to watch it happen and not be there, especially for people that I loved so dearly, like John, Aniston, ex-Victor, and Bill, Hayes, ex-Doug, and Peggy McKay, ex-Caroline, he explained. He remarked that while the writers had Bo touch upon the many losses that occurred in his absence, it was excellent writing. However, he stated that, for him in the real world, it was just heartbreaking. The actor explained that he was aware of story patterns, likening Bo's coma to the time Hope thought she was Princess Gina. Both stories were a slow burn to completion, and he loved playing Bo acting nefarious under Megan Hathaway's control in 2023. Ultimately, Reckell stated that the drama that Bo had to tackle was the stuff actors dream about. He noted, "Having to say goodbye to your character relationships as well as your personal relationships, like with Drake, Hoggeston ex-John. It really takes a lot out of you." Marlena and Rachel struggle. Chanel threatens EJ, and the high school crew graduates, but not without drama. The Friday, June 20th episode of Days of Our Lives honored Juneteenth and graduated the high school crew. Sophia thought she was in labor. Chanel threatened EJ, and the secret Rachel's keeping continued to manifest itself physically. Meanwhile, Marlena struggled. Physically, she was okay. Psychologically, not so much. She has a devastating case of grief, and she may need to seek help to get her through this trying time. What was the purpose of having Chanel threaten EJ? He was already shot. It's looking like Johnny's relationship with his father is going to be the next hurdle for Chanel and Johnny to jump. Well, that, and the fact that Johnny shot EJ, our next question. Brady just came out and said it. Before, it was Rachel seeing Johnny and EJ fighting, and Johnny had a gun. Now, she saw Johnny shoot EJ, point blank. Poor Rachel keeps getting sick over what she saw, and now she's with Marlena. And she might say something incriminating in her sleep. This is a strange way of solving an attempted murder mystery. What isn't strange is that EJ will do whatever it takes to keep Johnny from going to jail. We get budget restrictions, logistics, and other limitations that soaps have to face. But we learned that EJ disappeared Rachel Blake. And thanks to Rita, the woman in white is back at Aramid, never to step foot in Salem again. The extent of the graduation was the students decked in cap and gown, standing in a Salem High School hallway. No stage for the students to walk. No speech for salutatorian Holly Jonas to give. Same with Mayor Paulina's inspiring Juneteenth-related words to the graduates. We had to settle for Paulina practicing her speech for Abe. Plus, we had to take Holly's word for it, that both Eric and Nicole were out in the audience at the graduation. We should have at least seen Eric since he returned to Salem for John's funeral. Speaking of which, we can see Eric not mentioning anything about what's going on with him because his latest visit was all about losing John, supporting Marlena, and marrying Andrew and Paul. But couldn't he have at least told Belle or Brady that he and Nicole were having problems? And why go there? If Eric and Nicole aren't in Salem, we want to think of them living their best soulmate lives in Paris with Jude. First of all, she was the salutatorian of her high school class. She would have picked a college by now. But is she serious about leaving Salem? They are cutting it close with Tate and Sophia. In Friday's episode, she simply had Braxton Hicks contractions, but her due date isn't that far away. Where is this going? When Brady thanked Sarah for all her help with Rachel and Sophia, we got a vibe. And Brady has been single for a while. Just wondering,